up, guys? It's Senpai Nero here. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at a Freeze Mage deck for Shadows of Evil. The new meta just came out, the Year of the Dragon rotating in. We do have a brand new exciting meta, so this was definitely a deck that I wanted to try out because of powerful cards like Caligos and, what you see here, the Archivist Elysiana. Both I think are just like really cool cards in their own right. Caligos is just like a huge value card, has immediate impact, and I think just fits. It's not Frostlich Jaina, but I do think that based off of the cards that we have now, a list of some type of control mage should be able to work in this meta. So I had some pretty sweet inclusions in here, and as you can see in the games, the deck did pretty well. My only complaint I did have about this deck is there was a lot of times I found where our hands would line up kind of awkward. We wouldn't have the right removal spell for the type of board we were dealing with. We didn't have the right type of board wipe. There was a couple of hands where you just you didn't really do much in a lot of your turns because you didn't have the right cards that lined up. There's a lot of specific cards in here. So that was my only complaint. That can probably be refined. Again, this is just day one, so it's not going to be a perfect list or anything, but I do think trying to have like a Freeze Mage package incorporated into this was not a bad way to go at all, and as you can see in our games, it did work out really well for us. We did have some pretty exciting games and some pretty fun games and pulled out some pretty great wins. So with all that being said, I do hope you enjoy the games. Honestly, so far, besides the one practice game where I played in just like not ranked but the other, just like regular mode and lost to a top deck Leroy Jenkins when I had least on the board, this deck has not been doing too bad, I do have to say. That I am pleasantly surprised with how this deck is performing. Of course, obviously, it's day one. That was an absolutely horrible mulligan. Hopefully he's playing a slower Shaman. That's all I can hope for at this point. Yeah, that's pretty rough. But, besides having my only complaint, and he's playing Warlock Shaman, I should have expected that. We might just get ran over this game in all honesty. But besides a lot of like just having awkward draws because your hands sometimes don't always line up well with the cards and everything that your opponents are playing. Besides just having those awkward draws, honestly, I cannot complain about the deck. It sucks that we leave this alive, so, as I say, whenever you play Murloc, yeah. So, hopefully you maybe only generate like 1 or 2 Murlocs this turn. Yeah, or just 1. I mean, that's fine. I do need to draw a way to kill that, though. No, he's gonna coin, yeah, that's true. Okay. We do need to draw like a Frostbolt here. I might even fireball that because that's a snowball card. That card is so strong. Frostbolt, perfect. Just a perfect response to exactly what he did there. So, I mean, it's not horrible to drop the generated into. It's good value, but still. I think that overall the amount of just control and power we have in this deck, and if we stop drawing all of our high drops, will be enough to really carry us through this. I mean, he does more than likely have Bloodlust in his deck, so that is something we do have to watch for. But we have a lot of board wipes, all things considered. That is not good in any way, shape, or form. This guy is drawn really strong hand. Do I want to say this for this turn? Or is that too greedy? I think that's too greedy. We just gotta draw into more stuff, basically. Hopefully he kind of just like plays out some more powerful Murlocs this turn, and I can just like Flame Strike him all the way. Assuming he doesn't have the one that gives them health. Does have the one that gives them help. I just Frost Nova again, and I think we play this. So that way, hopefully this survives, and then we can have, we can cast 2 Flame Strikes. That's what I'm hoping for at this point. Just like wipe away his board. I'm not sure why he would summon this. I don't really think that's a good play. It could be decent, but honestly.
Senpai.
Yes.
Do you want a sandwich?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Alright, well this survives, so thankfully we do just get double flame striking, which is really strong. I think that right there could be just a huge swinging point for us. And that's kind of why I drew this card in this deck. It does have some, I don't know if it's exactly right, but there is instances like that, or just combining it with Blizzard to where you can, wow, we got the second Scargle from the Underbelly Angler, that is insane. And there's the second War Leader. Alright, come in. Come in. Alright. Was good. Sorry, I'm just recording, but it's cool. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is, honestly, I'm just going to Flame Strike this. With this guy out, let's just wipe away this board again. There's not really much else that I can do here that would warrant anything else in my hand. We just need to get rid of this board. And that's both Murloc War Leaders here, and then obviously the Scarlet that you generate off of that, which is pretty good, but I think overall this deck, like, we have enough late game. Yeah, see, there we go. It was nice and easy. Not really much you can do about that. This deck's pretty sweet so far. Only played 3 games. One of them was a game just in the regular, the non-ranked, I should say, but I'm supposed to be looking at everything in this hand. More than likely, it's going to be some type of version of Rush Warrior that we'd be playing against, or Bomb Warrior, actually, as well. So, but we'll see. We'll see if it's more of an aggressive warrior, even the Mech Warrior. I can see that being the case here. Damage game 2 armor. Overall, yeah. I mean, there's still definitely some work that needs to be done to this deck, and with decks like this, it is really meta dependent kind of on what you're playing. So it's kind of hard to say what this deck would shape out to be, but so far I'm liking the overall way that this deck plays. There's a couple hands you'll get that kind of line up pretty awkward, but besides that, I think that for the most part, this deck does have, a deck like this, a Control Mage type deck, does have some legs in the current meta. Alright, you can come through.
Okay. I'm rolling. Sorry.
We're good.
Oh boy.
Bye-bye. See you in a bit. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw this secret out there. Might as well run turn 3 and 1 Arcane Intellect right now, since I had 8 cards in my hands. Go up to 9 cards, and yeah, I guess I could have done that too. But I don't want to really use it just yet. It would be sweet if we could get some value with either the Archmage card off, the Arcane Intellect or something like that. Yep, he is playing the bomb. So that is something we do have to watch out for. Just shovels it in, and I immediately take the damage. This guy's a legend. There we go. How about you swing into that one? I'm not sure how I feel about this card yet, honestly. It's pretty decent so far, I think. That was rough. It's pretty decent, I think, in terms of it's having a big taunt value for relatively cheap. It's definitely no Tar Creeper, but in terms of like what we have, I guess just having like a big taunt to kind of help us out with a lot of what we're doing here and trying to survive the early game and stall out to these bigger cards, I think it does do a pretty good job of that. Alright, so 8 cards in hand. This puts us up to 9. Alright, let's start with Arcane Intellect actually. So we don't really have much going on here, so let's do that. Caligos. Actually, in the other two games, like we didn't even draw him. I don't think. I was wondering about this deck. This was a deck I think was going to be one of the most popular day one decks, just based off of people wanting to play a deck like this. Just because it was like, oh, Bomb Warrior, there's a lot of cool cards, mainly just playing the new Doctor Boom and having like Doctor Boom Magic and having a bunch of just a giant board filled with the Rush Boom bots is pretty sweet. But the thing about the bombs is like you have no control over them. Like yeah, if you get a lot of bombs in, then obviously it's a lot of like inevitability. So I can see it being good against something like our deck because they can start shuffling in a lot of bombs and then we don't really have much and we can just die at any time. But there is a caveat here, which is we do have one of the things that I was thinking about was this is also a good card to counter the bomb deck, which I felt like was going to be pretty popular because that does go ahead and just replace those. So easily access. Yeah, let's throw that down right now. Doesn't seem too bad here. I can ping this and then kill that, so that way it doesn't like magnetize or something crazy. Yeah, might as well. It's fine. We don't really have much else going on that we can play in our hand right now, so that works out. But yeah, so this card, because it does replace your deck, so if we have like a bunch of bombs shuffled in our deck, we can just play this and replace it, and he's using a Warpath on Zilia, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that is not bad at all, honestly. Depending on what we draw, we might have to throw away the coin here. Or draw a bomb. Yeah. Into a blast wave. Okay. Yeah, so well, actually, no. We can just coin into Alex draws it, actually. Yeah, that works. Yeah, let's do that. That works just fine for me. So, one bomb in our deck. Okay. Kind of want to get second execute out of his hand if we can before we play Caligos. Yeah, we definitely are saving that for the late game, so that's not going to be played for quite a while. Yeah, we just don't have anything to play right now. A lot of ours is reactive, and he's not really doing much, which is kind of weird. I thought the bomb deck was a little bit more tempo based, but honestly, if you look, he's played like what, 4 creatures? Yeah, like 4 creatures. So we just don't have any targets for any of our removal. Like we have a ton of removal and no creatures. I can't even. Well, I could play this, but if we discover a spell that we don't have a good target for, then we're stuck and we just like burn a card. So I think I'm just gonna throw away a Frost Nova. Just shoot him. Yeah. And again, he's just not doing anything. I guess he's playing a more control type version of the bomb deck, which if that's the case, I think based off of having a card like this in our deck actually favors us. Another reactive card that doesn't do anything for us. I think we just play this. I think right now we're not going to need it. There's not really much that we need to really get value of having this card because based off the cards left in our deck, like we don't really need, like we can't get an extra of this. A lot of our spot removal, like it could hit this anyway, so we don't get much value from that. And Arcane Intellect with us having so many cards in our hand, we're not really going to get value from that either. Plus, this kind of forces his hand because he wants to kill it. As you can see here, so now we actually can like start doing stuff to his board and taking care of it here. There's the last one. That's not bad. I'll take that because that kind of resets us on the bomb counter here. The only thing I'm thinking about doing is we could blast wave plus that, but what that does is that would actually overkill 2, and then it would put 2 cards in our hands. So that I mean, do we just like fireball this? I mean, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, the other way is kind of more efficient and we do extract value out of it the other way, but again, we just have so many cards in our hand that just doing this I think is fine for now. I mean, there's probably not going to be too many other times where we're going to get too much value out of this, but we do still have our Blood Mage style now, so we could actually get some value out of this. But if this game goes long, I do think that has potential to be scary in all honesty. Can't play that card. I think we just do that because he only generated 2 cards, so it's not too bad, but it can depend on the dragons that he's copying. So we'll see. We'll have to save things like Polymorph and Big Removal for if he has like some big dragons that he's holding in his hand. Hopefully he doesn't have an answer to the Doomsayer if we do go for a Doomsayer Frost Nova combo on like a threatening board with some bigger creatures, for example. So we know we have to deal with Genius Eras. It's just a matter of what else it is. So obviously I'm just going to polymorph this. No point in risking it. Just go ahead and polymorph and we'll throw this out there too to get it out of our hands. Kind of start chipping away at our hands so that way we're not as pressured to waste our cards on just like nothing really, because we don't want to like burn cards. I mean, there's not too much in here that would be horrible if we were to burn it, but we do definitely want like our polymorph, for example. But, yeah, that's a card that we can play, so that works. I forgot gold in one of this. Gold isn't too great. I mean, despite him like being golden, looking pretty sweet, it's better. The Golden Shimmerfly, if you saw my pack opening, the Golden Shimmerfly looks absolutely amazing. I believe that's what it's called. That one's pretty sweet. I wonder if he's going to execute. I would be ecstatic if he executed this, but it doesn't look like that is the case. I don't even know at this point if that's worth fireballing. No, not really. Kind of just ping it. But if he wants to swing into this, then we can just ping it off and kill it. And again, this type of matchup, like I don't obviously know his list. He's playing a Dragon Bomb, kind of like more control-y deck, so I think what it's going to come down to, basically, we'll probably only be casting Arcane Intellect this thing again. Yeah. So finish off like that. I mean, honestly, let's use our Blast Wave here. Let's see what we get. Just throw this out so that way our hand isn't full. And it's 5 damage to his face. That might actually make a difference. I don't think really Cinder Storm is going to get much more value for us in terms of that realistically. There's not really much that I think in kind of like this bigger control type deck that really, especially with, like things like that, obviously we wouldn't want to play Cinder Storm into that. So he's just trying to pressure us now. Oh, so that's the other dragon he created. That's Grand Dragon's turn. Okay, so yeah, he's doing a lot of value things over there. He's getting some value. And again, we do have this, so I'm hoping this will kind of put the nail in the coffin into beating this guy. I don't know why my game is like running kind of slow. I kind of restarted it a couple times and it's just been weird today. How pressured do we feel right now based off of our life total? Not like extremely, but I mean, maybe I'm just paying this twice. I'll just see what he does. Might like just like run that into that and then hit it, which is fine. I'll admit that I haven't played too much overall control in Hearthstone. I'm not really a big control player. That's poisonous. Honestly, in all honesty, but I just thought this deck looked pretty fun and cool. Okay, cool. We can't polymorph that, so we have to save it for the other card here. So I say we just do this and see what his response is. Still has pretty good amount of resources that he's working on. We're kind of behind when it comes to fatigue, but again, we do have this, so that will help. Okay, Schultz now. This is the other part we have to watch out for. I think we're just gonna play this and hit that. It's only 4 damage total. It's not like it's really threatening us. Life total is only at 20, but we don't have any more ways to heal, but we can discover, some ways to get more health and other resources with this. So it just depends. We kind of have to be frugal here in terms of what we're doing. Okay, yeah, we don't have. I was like, oh, that's kind of scary, and I realized we didn't have any bombs, so it's actually fine. I think we just kill both the creatures here. Play that for no value, so that feels pretty good. And of course, we're saving polymorph. And I think that's what he was probably trying to do, is like bait out like a polymorph from us. But again, we know that there's another Ysera, and we're not gonna waste polymorph on anything else, really.
I dream.
Yeah, there we go. Hopefully it doesn't get like amazing cards. Blast. Something is. I mean, based off of how this game is going, like he's still gonna have another Shield Slam and another Execute, more than likely. And we only really have like 2 creatures that are gonna be targets for that. So the only thing I'm thinking of is like, do we play this now? Discover a spell and then polymorph, or do we just polymorph and ping it and kind of wait? I think we're not too terribly pressured to wait. Like, the thing about the board as it stands is, I'm going to throw this out there too. So that way we can kind of set up a good board for this. Again, obviously he can just, whirlwind and do that, but at least we can throw it out into like a pretty non-threatening board, or not. We can just do that too. That's totally fine. If need be, honestly, I could Caligos like a Pyroblast, or maybe I discover a polymorph and I just like polymorph that.
I'm almost at cost.
So yeah, I say we just throw this out there. These are not great options at all, honestly. I mean, because this is coming down to more of a value game, honestly, I think Astro Rift is probably just the best card to pick here. Now, in terms of that, let's see, how many other big things do I think I'm going to have to deal with? You know what? Let's just Pyroblast it. In all honesty. Let's just Pyroblast it. There's probably like another one, but there's also the 2 random dragons that he generated. So I'm just hoping that he did a high roll on those dragons. Yeah, there's the second Execute. Draw. Okay. It's not bad here. Well, let's do this first. The 2 minions. I mean, they're bigger minions, so let's play her. First time actually playing her, so. Each card in your hand deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Yeah, it's not too bad. Polymorph, I'll take that. And spell, we have some creatures that this could actually work on. Not good choices. I'll just pick the ogre. Ooh, Caligos. That's pretty sweet, actually. Oh, no, that's awesome. I put 10 cards in our deck. This card is really, really sweet, I think. So now we just have to get through 9 cards. Okay. Now we just have to get through 10 cards. And, I mean, he's going to be in fatigue. I don't think Warrior has anything else besides... It's kind of a bigger creature, but I don't think Warrior has anything else besides... Let's just throw the Caligos out there. Just kind of flex on it a little bit.
Your tail.
I think based off of this card single-handedly won us the game. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we can just win the game from here, based off of that card. Board now. Someone forgot about that. It's kind of annoying, but they will get damage. They still have their flame strike. It's a Wind Fairy. I'm maybe Wind Fairy. Yeah, probably anything with Wind Fairy. It kind of sucks. It's a massive 6. Play this, because our meteorologist doesn't do anything, does it? Ooh, it does make our other Caligos a 12/12. As long as we don't top deck that could be pretty sweet. That's where I will add 2 4/4 dragons to your hand. It's a lot of value. Of course, we top deck the other Caligos, but let's just do that. Play this out there. Do that. He's working with a lot of help, but honestly, our resource generation was just really strong. So I think overall, as long as we keep on the board and we can deal with these last 9 cards that he has, we should win this game. So have cards like this, which is pretty sweet. Ogre Magi. So I find we just have to, and we still have this. Like I just think that we outvalue him, especially with the, what was her name? Archivist Lysiana getting 2 Caligos. I mean, that right there was just couldn't ask for anything better after that point. The rest of the cards could have been trapped. Yep, see, there we go. Alright, perfect. Well, I think that's a pretty good game to end this one on. And in all honesty, that was really sweet. That was quite a long game there.